Welcome back, and many thanks for staying with us on the #1 breakfast show in the country, Morning at NTV. Is Uganda's coffee industry ready for takeoff? That is the $64,000 question that is going to be expedited right here on Morning at NTV. I do have Dr. Margaret Blick Chigozie, commonly known as Dr. Maggie Chigozie. Yes, she is a businesswoman. She is also a consultant with the United Nations Industrial Development Organization. She is also, she wears so many hats. She's formerly served as the Executive Director, Uganda Investment Authority, and she's the chairman, Zuri Motor Firm Limited. I also do have Doreen Rehangwe. She is the acting director, that is Quality and Regulatory Services at the Uganda Coffee Development Authority. We want to talk about coffee value chains in that regard. Is Uganda's coffee industry ready for takeoff? I have them here. A very good morning, please.
Good morning.
Let me start with you, Doreen Rehangwe, brief background on Uganda Coffee Development Authority. What do you do?
Yes, thank you very much, moderator. Uganda Coffee Development Authority is a government statutory body which was formed at the beginning of liberalization in 1991. And from then it has been doing the work. And our work mainly is to promote production, to support research, yes, to market coffee internationally, and mainly to optimize the foreign exchange from coffee to see that farmers who work in the coffee fields can earn a livelihood.
And what efforts are being made to market Uganda's coffee?
Thank you very much. We have many efforts that we are doing as UCDA. The major efforts we are doing local promotions because we think that before we export this coffee, it should have an internal market that works as a buffer to support the volatile coffee prices. Also internationally, we represent Uganda in many of the international coffee forums, and we promote coffee internationally. In the Specialty Coffee Association of America, all the expos that they have, we promote there. We promote coffee in the Specialty Coffee Association of Europe. We promote coffee in the Specialty Coffee Association of Japan. We promote coffee at World Expos and any other expos that we have, that we are invited to. We also have collaborations with all the embassies that represent Uganda abroad. There we work with the commercial attaches to see that coffee is prioritized and promoted in all the Ugandan embassies and consulates.
Indeed. Dr. Maggie Chigozie, you've had coffee farmers for the last 10 years clamour to have the coffee value chain actually reduced because most of the proceeds of the profits were going to the middlemen in that regard. The middlemen would later on get the coffee, add stones to the coffee so that they could get more weight that to transport to these international countries. Of course, if I get the coffee and their stones, I'm not going to go back to that supplier. So the farmers were the end losers in that regard. So as a farmer and a promoter of Ugandan-made products, would you say we've made headway when it comes to the coffee sector? So the farmers,
a lot of headway through, of course, government coming in to contribute, as you've just heard from Doreen. They're doing a lot for us. They are giving us information. They are giving us seedlings, the right ones. If you plant the wrong crop and you plant it badly, you're already in trouble. So in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture, our district agriculture officers, we are able to plant and a modern commercial plantation, which is what the new farmers are now doing, and therefore we produce so much more, and the seeds is the right one. And also we've worked as the private sector. There are a lot of commercial farmers now from the private sector, so we've worked to set up our own new cafe, an organization that helps us again the middleman you talked about is not always bad. What would those villagers do without the middleman? Yeah, because they don't have the capacity to bring the crop here. Yes. So it's again, it's the middleman now also knowing what to do and knowing that his business depends on quality and not doing the stones you were talking about earlier. But the middleman probably is not going away. It's a value chain. Indeed. It's a value chain. The farmer is not very likely to be the one who transports as well, who exports. So it is a value chain, and all of us have our niche there.
Yes.
And so far, the exports are great over the last few years. I have been able to contribute to the figures Doreen has been talking about.
With Zuri Model Farm.
Zuri Model Farm.
Talk to us about that.
Yes, my farm is next to the famous Chitaria prison, became famous over the last few months.
I see.
But I'm a neighbor in that neighborhood, and I have about 50 acres of coffee.
Nice.
And I was given the right seedlings, and I planted those. And, we are doing everything according to the book. We were also given what is called a mother garden.
Right.
So again, UCDA authorized that we be given a mother garden so that we can get our own seedlings but also be able to sell to others. So the mother garden is actually working at the moment. So again, looking at other streams of income to the farm. And going forward, the value addition that everyone's asking us for.
Yes.
So where's the roasted coffee? Where is the instant coffee? Is actually, that would be the ideal for Uganda, to produce our own instant coffee, because I know our market in China prefers instant coffee. They don't have the time to roast, and so they want instant coffee. So that is now going back to my own roots of investment promotion. That is what Uganda needs to see, a big company that can produce instant coffee, roasted coffee. And it is happening. It is happening, and we're excited about the future.
Because they back little money when they only sell the beans if they're not processed in that regard.
It's
so
really
we need
sad.
to add value to what they are selling out there. Talk to us about what more do you think needs to be done in this coffee sector?
What more needs to be done is to, first of all, you Ugandans, please, 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 drink some coffee.
Indeed.
It's really nice.
Indeed.
Why do you think those Europeans are buying tons and tons from Uganda? And those, Asians and I know the Arabs drink a lot of our coffee. Why are they doing that? Because it's a nice beverage. But we cannot get the Ugandans off tea. No, and like we've seen what happened.
And I've seen this happening, yes.
We saw what happened in the tourism industry now with the lockdown. Ugandans became the tourists.
Yes.
And, they were able to, for the first time, think about tourism as for us, not for foreigners. So we want you as Ugandans, try the coffee. Have a coffee at 10 o'clock. Have a cup of coffee for breakfast. It's really nice, so that we know we have a market, a captive market. Ethiopia does so much better than us because they drink 50% of the huge amounts of coffee they produce. They drink 50% themselves. So Ugandans, please drink some of our coffee.
Indeed. Uganda, drink some of that coffee. Coming in from Dr. Maggie Sigozi. Let's also bring in Doreen Ray-Hangwe. She is Acting Director of Quality and Regulatory Services at the Uganda Coffee Development Authority. Doreen, have we grown our capacity to create and add value to our coffee beyond exporting beans?
Thank you very much, moderator, for that question. Yes, there are efforts to add value. We have a list of roasters. They are 18 in number, and they produce currently 45 brands. These brands are on the local market, and some go for export. We also, in order to add value, as Dr. Chigozi was saying, that Ugandans like a lot of tea. It is a culture that we inherited from the British. But we have a lot of programs to popularize coffee as a beverage. Yes. We have a program of coffee and health, where we bring a health expert from Israel to come and talk to the medical personnel, because we found out that most of the discouragement is coming from the medical personnel. They associate coffee with hypertension, yet coffee is not the cause of that. Controlled coffee can be taken by anyone who, 2, 3, 4 cups a day are actually beneficial for health. So we bring in an expert who is a medical expert, and he tries to enlighten them on the benefits of consuming coffee. We have another program which is Coffee and Youth. We know that the youth account for more than 45% of our population, and if they can change their mind to look at coffee as a good beverage, we know that it would go a long distance, or it would take us to consuming, like Maggie Chugozi, 50%. So we have a coffee and youth program, which is a barista program. Here we enlighten and teach the youth on coffee, right from plantation to value addition. And at the end of it, annually, we have a youth event called the Barista Competition, where they compete to produce the best beverages. Here, the best youth, the runners-up, and the best lady in the competition is sponsored to go internationally and represent us on the African arena. That is the Africa Barista Championship.
Right.
And after they have finished that, then we sponsor them for the World Barista Championship. We think that by doing that, first of all, they learn about coffee. Secondly, they'll prepare good coffee. Thirdly, they popularize coffee within their circles where they reside. And this program has been very successful because we've seen many youth get into roasting, into packaging, and some of them have got a livelihood from this. They go and get jobs abroad, especially in the Gulf region, UAE, Kuwait, Saudi. They don't go as laborers, but they go as roasters, and they promote Uganda coffee in that way.
That is Doreen Ray Hangwe, the Acting Director of Quality and Regulatory Services at the Uganda Coffee Development Authority. Let's also bring in Dr. Margaret Chigozi and talk about what farmers can do on their own without the input of government. What can they do?
Of course, the input of government is basically about the policies, and maybe some support and infrastructure. We need the roads to go to the farms. They also provide with electricity, which we need on the farms. They are looking at irrigation now, seriously. So those are the kinds of things that we ask government to support us with. But on the other hand, it's your farm. You're going to make the money.
Yes.
So this government did choose to go private sector led. So you as a private sector need to invest in your business, need to grow your business, need to understand your business so that you can, you can run something commercially. And we looked at, even at the Uganda Investment Authority, commercial farmers, the bigger ones, coming into an area and changing actually the whole community, because
To share practices.
they got many, Dr. Clark and others have come in. There already were some, our Honorable Sendaula, Lukenge, Haji. There were many middle-sized, large-sized commercial farmers, but now there are very, very many. So we've had the elite, the educated, go in to join the subsistence farmers and add that component of technology, of research. They benefit from research, of markets. They know the markets. They add that to what we used to have traditionally in the village. Don't dry your coffee where the goats are herded as well. Yes, the chicken should not go near your coffee. So that what we sell as Uganda, we actually had a bad reputation in the past. But now what we are selling out there is a quality product that is our fantastic Robusta coffee. The beauty of Uganda is our rainfall. We always have rain. We almost always have enough rain for your crop. And therefore our crop is particularly good. Other countries are not, the weather is not so good.
Indeed.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maggie. Now, let's also bring in Doreen Ray Hangwe and we talk about another issue. These farmers who are grappling with challenges between 2008 all the way to 2010. they had so many challenges like bad weather patterns. They had limited availability of farm inputs. They had limited funding in that regard. But then fast forward to 2020, 2021, what are some of the challenges that have befallen these farmers, coffee farmers?
Thank you very much. Yes, I'll not begin with the challenges because government has put a lot of effort because it does a lot of surveys, does research to know the challenges that the farmers meet.
What do they say when you meet them?
What they say is mainly it is climate change. That is the biggest challenge the farmers are grappling with because climate change brings with it so many pests and diseases which used not to be very important in production, like the black twig borer are now very important. They are devastating the gardens, especially during drought. There is also coffee leaf rust in the Arabica producing regions. There is also exhausted soils. We will not forget that our soils have been farmed for a long time and they need replenishment. Those are the main challenges. Also the challenge of marketing, as Dr. Chigos said. The farmers do not have capacity to bring their coffee to the market. And very few are members of these organizations like New Cafe, like cooperatives. So they still have that challenge of having a very small crop and trading locally in their locations. Yeah, so those are the challenges.
So what are you doing to create the markets and alleviate some of these challenges?
Thank you very much. I'll begin with the challenge of pests and diseases. Every year, Uganda, we purchase and import sprays and insecticides to control these pests and diseases which ravage the crops. And we do this on demonstration basis. We demonstrate to the farmers and then we tell them where to acquire these pesticides and herbicides. Yeah, also on the challenge of exhausted soils, Uganda, we are bringing in a lot of fertilizer now, and we are giving it to farmers who are able to stamp their coffee. You know, farmers make the coffee to overgrow, and as it grows further, its productivity goes down. So we are encouraging them to stamp the coffee. We give them fertilizer and it rejuvenates. Within 2 years, they'll be having a crop again.
All right, wonderful conversation I'm having with Doreen Ray Hangwe, the acting director, that is quality and also regulatory services at the Uganda Coffee Development Authority. We also do have Dr. Margaret Blick-Chigosi. She is the consultant with the United Nations in
Speak to you, Romeo, from Kampala, Uganda. We're live right now in Portland City, the great city of coffee, the capital city of coffee in the United States. Yes, the reason why, Romeo, we're here in the United States is because we are in the, or what you would call the coffee niche market traceability tour. And this is why I'm in the United States. The other day while I was in Kampala was to come here and see what is happening and how we can take Ugandan coffees in the United States. Today was a great event. We had very many people come here to test Ugandan coffees. The reason why we carried a couple of samples from different parts of Uganda. We had coffees from Habura region, that is Kisoro. We had coffees from Elgon region, that is Buramburi, Elgon, Kapchorwa, Sipi Falls, from Zombo, Zeu, some Robustas from Western Uganda, that is Ntungamo, Shema, Mbirizi, Masaka, and Kisansa from Luero. All these collection of coffees, both Robustas and Arabicas, were amazing to the Americans. We did blind tests of both Robustas and Americans, and the Americans never differentiated between the Robustas and the Arabicas. To me, that was exciting and amazing that we can penetrate our Robustas in the United States coffee market. I realized this morning when I toured most of the places in Portland coffee roasters, when I realized that most of the coffees were from Rwanda, from Ethiopia, from Kenya. None of our coffees from Uganda was there. To me, this didn't go well with me, but I said this is a start, and this is the reason why I think all of us as Ugandans, farmers, Ugandan coffee stakeholders need to come out and see how we can penetrate the United States of America, because our coffees are amazing. So coffees from Salvador, I saw coffees from Pandora, I saw coffees from Panama, I saw coffees from Colombia, I saw all these kind of coffees, but I never saw any coffees from Uganda. But I saw how these Americans here in our event today, how they are very excited. And I'm like, I think this is the right time for us to have Ugandan coffees in the United States of America. Missing gaps in the value chain. To me, most important, especially when I come and see what is happening in the markets here, is the promotions, the marketability, speaking to the market and being here all the time, and even possibly having our own coffee shops, our Ugandan coffee shops, African coffee shops that are able to push our coffees to the market, that are able to trace our coffees to the market. Because I can assure you that if we can get that missing link, that gap of our markets, and understand the markets here, that's the missing gap in my own opinion. What I see today is that we've not been aggressive enough. We've not been deliberate enough here in the market to understand how the market here works. Like the future belongs to the organizing. So what I learned from them is that we must make sure we be organized as farmers, as a people, as coffee stakeholders. If we're not organized, it will be tough for us. But if we're organized, the Americans are welcoming us with two hands. Kudos to UCDA and other stakeholders who have worked so very hard to make sure volumes increase now to about 6 million bags of coffee. And really kudos to UCDA, OWC, Ministry of Agriculture. I'm very excited even more by our new minister, Honorable Frank Tumweboze, for even, I know he comes with new energies, new excitement of things, and I'm very excited that with the new volumes, then something happens. But to me, he increased these volumes now to 6 million bags. Where is going to be the exit? And therefore, to me, as we increase the volumes, we must concurrently work on the markets. Where are these new volumes going to exit at the end of the day? So we need to look at other global markets like the United States where we are today, and other global markets. And therefore, to me, these new volumes that are increasing, one, we must ensure that they are good quality coffees. Aside having and being excited about the new volumes, I would like to hear that in our 6 million bags, this is how much we are able to get. Yes, I agree, having about $500 million of the money we get out of our coffees, I think we can do it better. I believe we can even multiply it by, we can even double it. We can even go times 3, times 4, times 5. How best can we ensure that our coffees even can be able to go to about maybe $2 billion, $2.5 billion, $3 billion? And to me, this will only be focused on having a better market, understanding what happens in the market. So yes, volumes are increasing. As a people, as stakeholders, as government, I urge government, they need to critically think about how these volumes need to go to the next level, how these volumes need to exit the country, of course, with a better price. And as well, to me, as we work on the volumes, we must understand how we need to exceed these volumes. But not just exceeding the volumes, but understanding and getting a better price for these volumes. And that's why we're pushing in, even making sure we go into specialty coffees, making sure we understand how we get the bean, how it needs to be managed to be able to get in some of these markets. But I'm excited, and I'm thinking that what is happening and what needs to happen is what we must do. Like I said before, it's time for action. And I'm very excited once again. Thank you, Romeo, and back to you in the studio.
Nelson Tagume, the CEO of Inspire Africa, coming to you live from Portland in the United States of America. He actually says, yes, more needs to be done to market the produce coming in from Uganda. From 2010, yes, we were actually exporting some 2.5 million bags of coffee. Now we can boast about 6 million. But where is the market? That is the $64,000 question. And of course, government is not sitting on its hands. We also do have individual stakeholders like Dr. Maggie Kigozi with her Zuri Motor Firm Limited, sharing best practices of how she was able to actually circumvent the challenges and actually make sure that her firm prospers in that regard. In terms of cost, for example, Dr. Maggie, would like to know, what does it take for you as a farmer to add value to your beans, say acquiring a roaster, grinding, and also packaging of the coffee?
Right. That is the plan. And when we needed to grow the coffee first, we needed to know how to grow it. So there was a process because I had land. So I needed to be a grower first, and that's what I did. Yes, it is not cheap. We need the roaster it is available from Brazil, from very many Israel and many other countries. They are available on the market, but setting up, so it does cost a bit. We appreciate what the government has put in place with UDC. That we do have funds that are available for borrowing. Still, I think the interest rates are still high for farmers. So none of it is cheap. And the instant coffee in particular, if that's the route that we need to take, our market in China is demanding instant coffee. If that's the route we need to take, that is, like a $30–40 million project. So we've always been looking for foreign investors, but I think Ugandans can now come together. I'm so excited when younger people like Nelson get the passion and start, thinking and trying to drive the sector. I think we shall make progress because he's looked at the market side. Where is the fantastic coffee we're growing going? And that was very important. So to the Ugandans out there, first of all, join us, grow coffee. The prices are going up, our quality is getting better, and you do get a lot of support from Doreen and people like her in government.
All right.
And secondly, drink coffee. Please drink coffee.
Especially Inspire Africa Coffee. Thank you very much, Dr. Maggie Kigozi and also Doreen Rehangwe for having made the time to speak to Morning at NTV. You wanted some parting shots, a few seconds, 30 seconds.
Thank you very much, moderator. My parting shots is that we have a roadmap to produce 20 million bags by 2025. So I call upon everybody, farmers, prospecting farmers, you, the moderator, please come in and grow coffee. Because as we heard from Dr. Chigozi, we want to put a soluble plant in Uganda, but it will need raw material.
All right, so thank you very much. Doreen Rehangwe and Dr. Maggie Kigozi, 20 million bags? 20 million bags by 2025. That is a very, very great development. My name is Romy Busik. Of course, you are still watching Morning at NTV. Let's take a breather. We'll return shortly with more information. Keep it here.